No, I'm very, very excited to be here tonight, and I want to thank New Dawn for including us in tonight's lineup. Thank you. Very good. We've been rehearsing at New Dawn for our new show, and we've been camped out there for a while, so New Dawn has helped us with the various things since we started. So I need a clicker. There we go. Okay. So you heard that Weird Beard is a group of creative volunteers, and we get together and produce these live children's theaters productions. And we use black light, and we use puppetry, and we have lots of music. So the show itself is both visually, and it's great to listen to, it's great to watch, and we have a lot of fun. And our puppeteers are folks with Down syndrome. That adds an extra special element to all our shows. Just to give you a background on what black light is, it's a form of light that when it shines on certain objects and certain colors and materials, they glow. So in our theater, the light is all blacked out, and the only thing that's on are the black lights. So when our puppets come on stage, they just pop, they glow. It creates a really out-of-worldly experience when you see our shows. Down syndrome, a little overview of what Down syndrome is in case anybody doesn't know. It was new to me when Nico was born, and we've grown with it, and it's just fine. And it was in the overview, but it's here again. I grew up in Ashby, Sydney. My folks are here, Mom and Dad, hi. Moved to Halifax to get my engineering degree, moved to Toronto, did a little bit of stuff there, and then moved back. And my husband and I started Media Spark, and I was a team member of Media Spark until our children were born, and then the idea, the germ of the idea of Weird Beard started while I was a stay-at-home mom. So I'm just going to give you the background of our story. It started with him. This is Nico. He's about 2 in this picture. When he was born, he was born early. I shouldn't have done this one. Matthew is right here. He was born early, and he was very light, very lightweight. And the list of things with Nico was considerable. But slowly, slowly, all those things got checked off. And he came home, and he's a fighter. He was great. The only thing left on that list when he came home was Down syndrome. And really, that's minor. It's wonderful. Maria and Nico today, first day of school. So while I was still a stay-at-home mom with both of them, my kids used to watch Treehouse a little bit. Anybody here know the Treehouse channel? And the Famous People Players are a group of performers based in Ontario. And they had a short 3 to 5 minute sketch that would appear on the Treehouse channel. And it was blacklight, puppetry, music, and their puppeteers are folks with challenges. They're very well known internationally. But when they came on, my kids would love it. So that was the germ of the idea of Weird Beard, because I wanted to do something creative. And when I saw that they both were so interested in this little snippet, this puppetry, this black light, this music, I thought, well, you know what, we can do that here. That can be our bit. So this is the germ of the Weird Beard idea. Going through these quick. The first thing I did was I talked to some of my friends. Bernie Borden is a friend that I knew from a long time ago, but she became Nico's early interventionist. So she would come to our house once a week and play constructively with Nico. When I brought this idea up with her, she said, well, you know what, I did theater when I was in university, so yes, I would like to be a part of your troupe. Lorna McLean is a good friend of mine from a long time. Lorna, hi. Lorna is an amazing quilter. So in order to make puppets, I needed somebody that knew how to handle a needle and thread. So I talked to Lorna, phone call in my backyard. Lorna, what do you think of this idea? And she was on board. It was all good. Carolyn Guy, another close friend of mine, brought this idea up with her. Because you need people for these ideas. You need people in the background. And Lorna was a very supportive, sometimes voice of reason, but very supportive. And so the more people I talked to, the more energized I got about the idea, and it progressed that way. So after talking to these guys, I talked to Nigel Kearns. Where's Nigel? There he is. Anybody know Nigel? A little out-of-the-box thinker. We had this great lunch, and we had a wonderful conversation. We came away from that conversation so jazzed to take it to the next step. Todd Hiscock, the manager at the Boardmore Theater, when it comes to these ideas at the very beginning of it, there's a lot of stuff that's very soft and mushy, and nothing was concrete, and we'd make puppets and we could get music, we'd do all that, but nothing was solid, nothing was constructive. But talking to Todd, I wanted to find out if we could put our shows on at the Boardmore Theater, something that was concrete, something that we could base our shows around. And that was pretty crucial to the beginnings of the show, because I knew that we could design our show and it would be played at the Boardmore Theater, this wonderful venue. And he was on board. Maynard Morrison, I took dram with him in high school. I brought the idea to Maynard. He's like, yeah, this sounds really cool. And then he gave me some constructive ideas on what type of show to do, how to make it simple, but still create a very visually dynamic show, and that worked. So talking to people, I got a lot of energy, I got a lot of really good advice, and went from there. So the more people I talked to, the more people that came on board. We got lots of volunteers. I think in total, our volunteers number in about 80. When you think about the musicians that have done the songs for us, the technical people that have done the background, script, music, all of that stuff, it takes a lot of people to create our shows. Well, I don't make them wear those yellow shirts, though. So we have writers, photographers, musicians, graphic designers, audio engineers, sound and lighting, business advisors, and voice talent. That's just the beginnings of creating the show. And they're all important, and they all contributed. What I like to think is the people that I approached, they have 9-to-5 jobs where they're doing creative things, right? But when you approach somebody with an idea to create a puppet show under blacklight with folks with Down syndrome, they get to take that creativity to another level, and they can think outside the box. So that feeds back into their day-to-day lives. So I'm hoping that our volunteers that normally do all the work that they do day-to-day, when they get a chance to do it for something so creative, it opens their mind. I'm hoping that's what happens. In the first 2 years of our society, we created the nonprofit. We got a logo, website. We did fundraising. Our first show, The Three Little Pigs, cost about $10,000 to launch, so we raised the money to do that. Wrote scripts. We made the puppets, Lauren and I. We camped out in our basement making puppets out of foam and stuff that glue in the dark. It was crazy. Built sets and props. We talked to the media to get the word out what we were doing. And we recorded music, musicians. Like, for each of our puppets, there's a custom song for each of those puppets. So that requires somebody to write a song, background musicians, and then record it at Jamie Fold's studio. So all these people came together with the same idea. We want to put a show on. We want to showcase the talents and abilities of our folks with Down syndrome. And who wouldn't want to go to a show with puppets, right? There's our Three Little Pigs. That's Mr. Weirdbeard in the bottom. Yeah, we had a great time. Yeah. I'm just going through here quickly. The puppeteers are amazing. So they're a whole other part of what we do. The families and the puppeteers themselves, they're just wonderfully. This Emma, she was going to be here tonight, but she's not feeling great. So she's home recovering with the sniffles. Ian was one of our pigs. Adele, you might meet Adele later. Jillian right now is participating in Special Olympics, doing some gymnastics, so we won't meet her. But if you do want to, you have to come to our show, and then you'll see her. And Brian. Brian became our sound guy after he was finished doing Big Bad Wolf. During rehearsal, we had a lot of fun. We camped for the Three Little Pigs. We rehearsed at City Academy, and we played with the puppets. The parents were the puppets. Brian, the Big Bad Wolf, liked to play on the soundboard, so during a rehearsal, you might end up hearing a toilet flush, and that would happen. Sometimes a leg would fall off a puppet. That would be okay, too. We just have a lot of fun with the puppets. In the end, they are a very good workout. When you're finished doing the show, all of our puppeteers are sweaty and tired and hungry, and they sleep well, and they've had a good time. And at the end of the day, that's pretty good. For the Three Little Pigs, our photographer created a movie trailer. We posted that on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. He created trading cards, so you can collect and trade the trading cards of our puppeteers. We launched a music CD from the music from the Three Little Pigs, and we produced a children's book from the photos of that show. So you can get the script and the photos from the Three Little Pigs. At showtime, we sold out. We had standing ovations. But another part of our whole show is the inclusion. So our audience is included in the event as well. So for the Three Little Pigs, our volunteers made upwards of around 800 fake beards, and everybody in the audience got to put on a fake beard, and Bernadette Borden led the audience in the singing, "If You're Happy, You Know It, Scratch Your Beard." So everybody becomes part of our show. We also have a red carpet, so when you come to the show, you get to walk the red carpet and get your picture taken. At the end of the show, our puppeteers go up, and you can get your picture taken with the puppeteers. We performed at Lumiere. We had a great time. We'd like to do it again. We'll just have to wait and see every year. But we had a great time at Lumiere. I still have people coming to me and saying, "We saw you at Lumiere. That was so great." So Lumiere, all these things are connected, and it's wonderful. What's next? And we did it all again. After the Three Little Pigs, we started working on our next production, The Tortoise and the Hare. We learned a lot from the Three Little Pigs, and we took all those lessons learned and we applied it to The Tortoise and the Hare. And we've performed Tortoise and the Hare at the Boardmore. Last year we launched it, and then we performed it again in the fall, and we're performing it once more coming up. For The Tortoise and the Hare, we also have the full music CD and the children's book. I'm doing my Vanna thing. This is my Vanna thing. The music comes in. So your kids can put the CD, I don't know, many people have CD players anymore, but you have probably one in your car, so you can put the music in your car, and driving to work you can listen to our show and sing along to the music. I know my kids know the script start to finish, they know all the lyrics, and I think that's common for our puppeteers. The other big thing that happened with The Tortoise and the Hare is that Seaside Cable came on board as both a volunteer and as a supporter, and they followed us around with their cameras, and they created a documentary on the making of The Tortoise and the Hare. So we now have a documentary that's being played on Seaside Cable, runs about 32 minutes, on how the whole show comes together, right from the creation of the puppets, the music, and then rehearsal, all that craziness in the rehearsal. So just wrapping up. The final big thing that the final big goal of Weird Beard is that when we're finished with the show, we're finished with the Three Little Pigs, we packaged them up and they got shipped to Halifax. And Team Possibles in Halifax, they're an arts group of folks with Down syndrome, adults and kids with Down syndrome. They launched the Three Little Pigs in Halifax last year, sold out, standing O's. It's just, how can you not go to these shows? They have Three Little Pigs for another year. They're going to perform it one more time, and we're actively looking for another group anywhere in Canada that's willing to take on our shows and duplicate the success that we've seen here in Cape Breton. And kids anywhere in Canada can receive the accolades and applause that our kids here have seen. So, Team Possibles, come to our show. We need bums and seats. Come to our show. Buy our book. We use the money from our book to support our future productions. We've already started brainstorming our next show, which will be Jack and the Beanstalk. It takes 2 years to put together a show. So while one is being rehearsed and performed, our next one is in the hopper. So Jack and the Beanstalk, the initial meetings on how that story is going to play out is already underway. Donate time or money, or buy our book. Tortoise and the Hare costs $20,000 to launch. I suspect Jack and the Beanstalk will be at about the same amount. So that's Weird Beard. We're performing at the Boardmore, 2 more shows. Come to our shows. May 15th and May 17th, I'll give you a heads up. Our last show that we had a lineup and we had to turn kids away. So if you want to come, call the Boardmore, order your tickets, and then pick them up the day of. I don't want to see anybody turned away. That's not what I want to do. So would you guys like to meet a few of our puppeteers? Come on down. We've got them hidden back here. Unfortunately, there's some Special Olympics events going on, so we've got stand-ins, but here we are.
I've got to wring out my wrists, and I have
the song you're listening to now is the song that was written for Shelley the Tortoise, written by Elise McLean. And
yeah, that feels good.
One of the most beautiful songs in her show. Here comes Shelley.
Yeah, that feels good. The forest's my home. It is the best place to roam.
And Adele Warner is one of our stars of our performances. She's at the back. Come on up.
My feet.
Yay, Adele.
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, that feels good. And I want to shout from my green snout that I'm happy to be me. And I want to yell.
Jenna Guthrow is one of our aspiring puppeteers. Our troops start out with 2 levels of puppeteers. Adele is one of our main cast members.
Yes, I'm happy to be me.
She plays Miss Jazzy Bear during the Tortoise and the Hare. But our puppeteers start... Come on here. Here. And then face the audience. There. There, now you can keep going that way. And Carolyn Guy, friend extraordinaire, standing in for one of our puppeteers who's homesick. You can keep going. Our puppeteers start young, and they're in a chorus section. So when they get to be older, they can manage one of the bigger puppets. So that's our show. That's our show. Thank you very much for listening to me talk about weird beers. Because that's it.